All right, here we go again. Another weekly episode of Sheep Farm Podcast. This is episode 205, I believe it is. 205.
205.
I think we're right number there now. The format is simple. We're trying to release 4 shows a month. Members get full podcast plus download. Non-members get part 1, however long it might be. All shows are released on Saturdays. It's always good to sign up to the emails, though, because you get notification of when the podcast's coming out, when it's live. Part 1 is on Podomatic as well, if you want to watch it from there. They ship them out to Spotify, Amazon, Audible, Google Podcasts, and it's Apple. I said that because somebody said, why aren't you using Yorkshire version of Apple? Other day, I think it was Anticoviat who said that. So I thought I'd just add that one in because I hadn't said it for a few weeks. What we're going to do is we're going to release this little intro, about 5-10 minutes, onto YouTube. That'll be as intro, and it'll just give you an insight into what we're going to be doing in the full podcast and part 1 as well. Right. I've explained everything there. I think I've got everything. Thanks for everybody who's ordered supplements. Remember to use the code. Join us on Instagram. DM Chris. You can DM him. Direct message him. Unless that stands for dopey mail.
I've become a bit of an Instagram whore lately. I'm afraid.
You keep saying that.
No,
so you're actually becoming a bigger one. Can you actually use that word now?
Probably not. She's discriminate against horse.
Or horses. Or as I say in Yorkshire, hosses.
Because I do go on it every day. So this is a good place to DM me.
Yeah.
As you say, as I've just learned what that means.
So this is an intro into a podcast we did a couple of weeks ago now, actually. We're about a week in front of us podcast with Nathan Lucius. You'll have seen him on Mark Devlin's podcast. I mean, he's been on ours in the summer as well. And he was on Rise Above last week. So no doubt we'll be getting some grief because he's going around all his mates. You're not allowed to have friends.
If I recall, his mic weren't big enough for him to be a proper shill.
Well, Nathan, you need to get a new mic, proper shill mic, my friend, if you're listening to this.
Yeah, we didn't actually really talk about his book that much, did we?
Well, we went into parts of it, but we got a general gist of what it was. It's called Fake Awake, Cults, Psyops, Psychosis, and the systematic destruction of the truth movement. And I think we've been talking about that for a while, actually, especially since Richard's case and sort of like the fallout of what that's brought. Different versions. You've got people saying that he's actually working for the government, which I find a bit strange, or possibly working for the government. You got, but while forgetting about all the evidence that he's released, and it's an interesting one, and that's only one. And then you've got, I think I mentioned this last week in part 2, that after 2020 we had a common enemy based on whatever the establishment. Bill Shill Gates, World Economic Forum, World Health Organization or Death Cult, and all the other incumbents, Moderna, Weapons that Kill, etc., and all the people that were running the shenanigans in 2020, 2022 to 2022, and still going on now. We all had a common enemy, and once that disappeared as such, although it's still there under the surface. Virtual reality disappear. Now we've got nothing in common with a lot of them people, and so a lot of them people now are calling out people, each other, and what have you. I
don't even know if it's that fact, because it just reminded me. I was listening to something the other day, and it doesn't matter who it was, but that was the same actually. Now you think about it, they spent half an hour talking about another guy being wherever, a few of them discussing it, and it's just it's time wasted, isn't it?
It is, because it doesn't really matter, because just get on with your own thing, do your own research. Do your own research. What gets me is that people will call people out and then quote their work. I find that a bit of an irony, really. We're never going to agree with everything people say, and let's face it, a lot of these things, the research, let's say into bloodlines, I can show that the bloodline exists there and that follows back to that. But I don't know why them people have been chosen all the time to be in that role. I can only theorize about that part. So the actual evidence and the truth and a theory and an opinion are different things. and they get confused as though that's actually what you believe. If you give an opinion of what might be, that's actually what you think has happened, and that's not true. Anyway, and I think, the breakdown now is to try and split. Again, that's the reason why Mariana Spring, BBC, the Verify nonsense, and all this sort of stuff is happening, is to try and split people down the middle. And so Nathan's wrote a book about all that, really. A pretty concise book as well, 360 odd pages, probably more than 400 pages if you include the notes. Book, and so
and it mentions us at the beginning.
I've never been mentioned in a book.
Me neither. Never read a book.
What's a book?
So it mentions us. It's quite nice.
If you want to listen to that, that's the podcast that'll be playing the full time. If you want to join us in part 2, you can do. We'll be there in part 2. If not, we will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Then I will die. I'll be